Hi guys, welcome back to Nardi Elder Gaming, and we're back in Jurassic World Evolution 3. So, on the last episode, we created this environment here, which we've got 4 different raptor environments. So we got Pyroraptor, Velociraptor, Deinonychus, and what was the other one? Utahraptor, I think it was. And then we built this, and I can't see where they are. There we go. We got the Gigas. So, what are we going to do in this episode? I'll tell you what we're going to do in this episode. It's something that I've been sort of hinting at for a little while now, and I thought it's time to actually finally do it. We're going to take the sauropods out of this environment, and we're going to give them their own environment. But their environment is going to be down over here. And it's going to be quite big, because I want to put more than just Dreadnoughtus and Brachiosaurus in there. So, I'm going to start by actually building the landscape up a bit before I even put an area around it. A fence, rather. So let's raise the terrain up to get some decent height out of it. And then we can start to flatten it. So I want to build a similar sort of thing with the waterfalls and that, but I wanted to give it a more natural look than the other one. So I would like to get a waterfall coming down in there. So we can have a decent backdrop to it. Have it looking a little bit sort of natural, and we can rock this area up a little bit as well. But first of all, let's see if we can get the waterfalls in place. I quite like the rocky terrain. So you can see it's going to be quite big, this environment. So let's get some water in there. I don't understand why I'm not getting a waterfall there. It seems to be very hit and miss on actually getting a waterfall going on this. I don't know why it seems to be that difficult. Because when I watch other people doing it, they get waterfalls quite easily. See, no matter what I do, it's not turning into a waterfall. I don't know if it's something to do with the terrain I'm using or what. So you're not getting anything at all. But that's not very... Let me just turn the radius down on that a minute. Ah. Okay. Ah, right, okay. I think I've sussed it now. Right, that looks the sort of thing I was looking for actually, so I'm quite happy with that. But I need to do some rocks in amongst it so it doesn't look quite so uniform. I want it to look a little bit more interesting. So it's starting to give it a bit of a different look to it. So if we can chuck some big old cliffs up in the background there. Looks like my gigas have claimed a nest. Right, so I quite like that. So I need to rock these areas up a little bit. Actually, I might put trees and that over these areas. But what I do need to do is sort the water out. I'll get a decent bit of deep water in there. Take away the uniform shape. I might do a couple of like smaller stream-like bits coming away. I can go into a pool up there. This one can follow along here. I think I might have another deep pool around here. There we go. Okay, so that doesn't look too bad at the moment. So I think what we need to do is put a load of trees and that up on this area here. Don't like too much rockery around here. I want to sort of grass that over a little bit. I want a little bit of rock face showing through, but not loads of it. So it needs to still have its rocky look, but give it more sort of a pasture type of affair to it. There we go, I quite like that. It's fairly simple. I'd like to get a few trees up on top of... let's get the foliage. Let's find the big trees. Right, so that sort of covers that a little bit. Just wondering now, see if I can do some creeping vines. Sort of hanging down off them. Problem is they're very small, aren't they? So they're not really gonna show much. Suppose I could put some in here, couldn't I? Sort of coming down off of these. No, they're not really working. I don't like them. That's still not too bad, I suppose. So I need to get some trees along the bottom here. There we go. So that must be looking better for trees and that now. So what we need to do here is we need to put some tool stuff in for the sauropods to actually feed on. I'll just bring the rocks back now, won't I? I can't quite get trees to go there on the brush, so I might have to do those individually. But let's just have a look and see what it looks like. So the waterfalls look quite good. And the trees, yeah, I quite like the way the trees are looking. Now let's see if there's anything else that we can actually put in along here. I suppose we could rock this area up a little bit, couldn't we? Got random rotation on it, but it's not really doing it. See if we got some can we actually wondering if we could actually scale that round. Right, that's giving that more of a natural look on the rocks. Still need to do a bit. A lot of my dinosaurs are maturing. There we go, nice view of one feeding. Let's see how my others are doing. So are we getting anything happening with the... Just trying to find one. I can find a goat, but... No, I give up. I'll have to look at the site map and find them. There we go. So the thing is, how many have I got in there now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are juveniles, so they are breeding now. There we go. There's a little one. Right, yeah, I was a little bit concerned that they weren't going to breed. And the raptors must be. Look, there's loads of raptors in here. It's blue. And let's just check on the Raptors, that was it, not Utah Raptors, as I said. So yeah, they're looking. Let's have a look and see if we can find the juvenile Giga. There they are, that's the two juveniles. And I believe that the T-Rex juvenile has matured. So we should have 3 adult Rexes in there now. Spino, as he... Yeah, he's matured. Wow, that is getting really overpopulated in there. So yeah, so I'll get the trikes out of there, and I'll get all the sauropods out of there. And then I'll probably end up trying... Hang on. What the hell? How did you get out? That is a big ornithomimus. Right, well, he don't seem to be hurting anyone, so we'll leave him for the time being. So let's get back over to the sauropods. To get over to their new enclosure. I'm actually wondering whether to run a ditch along here and not have fencing. Gives people a better view of them then, doesn't it? So let's lower the terrain around about here. So So I'll just use that as my template for flattening the terrain. Right, so now what I need to do, because I'll fence this bit off, and I need to flatten these edges. Does that really work doing it that way? So I need to drop these down to have a really straight edge. Not really sure what that tool does. Not really sure what that one does. Right, I don't want the ramp. No, I just have to play with these. I don't really know too much how these are actually working, so I'm just having a bit of a mess around with them, really, see what they do. So that's not really doing anything. Right. Spin that back down again. So if I put slope up full, there we go, that's better. There, I quite like that. As I said before in the last video, I think it is, I prefer these natural looking barriers rather than fences. So what I can do now, hopefully, is to bring this one closer up to here by flattening the terrain. that didn't work. I need to drop that back down, so let's do that as a small radius in there, and we'll flatten the terrain to match that. There we go. Bring it across nice and gently, because I don't want to have the ditch getting too tight, if you see what I mean. Don't want them to be able to step over it. Right, that doesn't look too bad a ditch, does it? Let's just raise the rest of this up. Reset it how it was. Right, let's see if that looks a little bit too OTT. Means you can't really see it until you're right up on it. Which is good, I suppose. Right, what I do want to do is get rid of this rocky terrain. And we want to be changing that to have a more pasture look to it for the time being. There we go. Yeah, that won't really work, will it? No, well. Just smooth it off now. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, I suppose, that you can't put like water going across the bottom of these. Right, so what we would need on an exhibit like this would be something to stop the customers from falling in. So we'd really need a small fence going around this edge. But it wouldn't have to be a big one, that's the thing. Because there's no way the animals are getting through there. So we could just put a small electrified fence. Let's bring it back a little bit. So we'll have to put the viewing galleries along here as well, because otherwise they won't always get a good view of what's going on in there. Right, so all we need to do now is just block this little edge off, which we can do with rocks. Like so. And that means they shouldn't be able to get out of here anywhere now. Right, so let's just finish this edge off. This one we might need to... Actually, I suppose if we were to... We were to just block that off like so. And then use rocks again to block any access that the animals might have to that. So they won't be getting through there. And we can block it off around the back of the aviary. Like so. So that would block that off entirely. So let's fill this area up at the back here with woodland cover. There we go, that just makes that little area look good. Right, so all we need to do now is to make a gateway in. Let's have a... classic gate, that's what we want, isn't it? Let's see if I can bring that over just a little bit. Let's bring that over just to there. Let's see if I can get the gate in there now. I'm not quite sure why it's not matching up, but... I've got a little idea what might work. It might not, but otherwise a rock will be involved, as usual. There we go. Right, let's find a rock that can sit in there nicely. Usually one of these is good enough for it. Like so. So now it should be completely enclosed. Right, so at this end is looking a little bit barren. So let's cover this in some trees just to make it look a little bit better. Right, so yeah, I'm pretty happy that nothing will be able to get out of there. So it looks a little bit similar to the last one we did. But that doesn't matter. Right, I think what I'm going to do here, right at the very end, is a large rock. Like so. So that will just block it off completely there. So it's fenced all around. The rangers could get in through the gate here. So now what we need to do is just start sculpting the terrain a little bit. So just run over with this, and then after this I can use the flattened terrain just to smooth it off, or smooth terrain. Right, there we go. So let's smooth that off a little bit. Just to get rid of the bad bumps. So now it will be all nice and uneven. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another pool just down here. I might have it just run off from this one. Then just have a deep water pool around here. There we go. That is a nice looking place for sauropods. So what we need to do, we just need to make sure that we know what our sauropods are feeding on. So let's have a word with our brachy. Right, so they like tool nut. So let's put plenty of tool nut in here. Ground nut, tool nut, there we go. Now I know they like a lot of it, and they need they like cover as well, so we're gonna have to make sure they've got plenty of cover. Right, so already that's looking good. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a path from here up to the gate. Which one was I using? I think it was this one, wasn't it? Yeah, it's the right one, but the wrong width. That was it. I'll get rid of that other one in a minute. Oh, that clipping on is very annoying. Right, so we've got our fence on there now, and we've got our path. Let's get rid of all the rock colour. Right. There we go. I'm liking that. So what I need to do now is to get my sauropods in here. Now, just wondering whether to breed new sauropods and then just get rid of the ones in the other environment. I don't mean that in a mafia sort of way. I mean maybe sell them or something. Right, so let's use this one. So let's get our first ones. Let's get ourselves some apatosaurs in here. I like that pattern, to be fair. I might just do those as they are, to be honest. So we're going to get two. So we get a male and a female in there.
Synthesis procedure complete. Incubation personnel, please stand by.
Right, so one of each. Let's begin that, and we'll start with the second one. Brachios. Now I think Amazon Rain and the Gambia. Let's begin the task on them.
Synthesis procedure.
Right, so we now got two of them, two of each of them going. So Paddocks released via airlift.
En route to pick up the asset. We are pleased to welcome Carnotaurus to the party. Asset transportation underway.
We see how they like the compound.
Asset has been collected.
This giant herbivore, the Apatosaurus, is quite a sight, as I'm sure you'll agree. Even prehistoric predators would be intimidated by this animal. But don't let first impressions fool you. This can be a gentle dinosaur when treated well.
Right, let's see what. Hasn't really explored enough for to know about cover yet, because there's plenty of cover. There's loads.
Transportation complete.
Right, I need tall leaf for them. Got to change it to suit them as well. Right, so let's get the brachios in there as well. And we'll drop those over this side.
Picking up asset.
Let's see what else we can go. So we've got Brachiosaurus. Diplodocus. Yeah, let's have some Diplodocus in there. Let's go with a bit of green on that one. I like that. The males are darker. Let's lighten them up a little bit, I think. We'll give them that pattern. Should be good.
We are pleased to welcome a Brachiosaurus to the park. Transit has commenced.
Right, let's just check on our apatosaurs. Need a bit more tall leaf. It's only got no cover, but there's a literal forest on one side of them.
Transportation underway.
Right, so release the Diplodocus.
Asset requiring collection.
So we've got Diplodocus. We better have another pair of Dreadnoughtus. Oh, so you're doing one Dreadnoughtus. Probably because they're so big.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome Asset Sauropods.
Right, we'll do a female in that one.
Asset being transported. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Diplodocus to Asset has been transported. Asset being transported. Incubation complete. Prepare asset for release.
Right, one male Dreadnoughtus coming up.
You know, the Diplodocus was once thought to be the longest animal that had ever lived. It might have lost that title, but it's still a much-loved and widely recognized dinosaur, which translates to big audiences. Yeah, this is a great addition to the site.
Dreadnoughtus is one big animal. Right, let's see how our others are doing.
Commencing asset transit.
There's our Brax.
Asset transportation complete.
Right, let's release Roger.
En route to pick up the asset.
Right, let's see how our Diplodocus feel. They need a bit of wetland. That's easy enough done.
Asset delivery confirmed. Asset transportation underway.
There we go, they got a bit of wetland. More than they needed, but I do. There's plenty of cover. I don't know why they all keep saying there's not enough cover. So tall fruit. Right, that's one Dreadnoughtus. There's the Brachios. Diplodocus. Apatosaurus. Let's have a look what else we need. Mamenkes. Definitely gotta have Mamenkes. Quite like that. Alright. It's only giving us one again, so let's get another Mamenki in there.
Asset delivered. Synthesis procedure complete.
Right, so we do the female in this one. And a male in that one. Right, now we need viewing platforms, but we're going to have the big ones. Not noticed these ones before. Might have to have a look at those soon. But we better do a tour in here, I think. But we'll have... Let's put one up there. One up there. It's going to be a big area, so it needs ample observation towers. And then we can put a final one down here. So we just need to connect them up via the paths.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have added a new viewing platform, ready for you to gain an elevated view of our wonderful dinosaurs. Ladies and gentlemen, we have added a new viewing platform, ready for you to gain an elevated view of our wonderful dinosaurs.
Right, let's have a look. Oh, I don't like that reflection. That's a bit annoying. I wonder actually if we can get some of those oh, why is it not letting me do free rotate on that? Oh, that's annoying. Because that's not going to match up now, is it?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's try it there, I
we
suppose.
have added a new viewing gallery, ready for you to observe our magnificent animals.
Information will be automatically selected and displayed for you. Simply touch the area of the screen displaying the appropriate icon.
Well, I can't actually see shit from there. Let's put another one in over here. Why is everything obstructing it?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have added a new viewing gallery, ready for you to observe our magnificent animals.
Right, let's see what the view's like from this one.
This colossal titanosaurian originally lived in Argentina. and is one of the largest ever known land animals. Its tremendous size and power led to it being named...
There we go. Right. What else is in here? Right, so we got the Mamenchisaurus. Female in there. And the male in there. So let's release them too.
Collecting asset.
So let's see what else there was after Mamenchisaurus. Patagotitan. So I think Patagotitan is going to be the last one, isn't it? So let's sort them out. Let's make them a bit brighter. I don't want them to be too dark, to be honest. There we go, that'll do that. Right, let's do the female. So what we're going to do, we're going to finish off the
For the length of
sauropod.
its neck alone, the Mamenchisaurus
Rude.
is a sight to behold. With proper care and, as always, the right enclosure, it should prove to be one of our more impressive animals.
Right, they totally threw me what I was saying now. Right, so yeah, I think the next, what we're going to do next, I want to build a an enclosure for Carnotaurus. So that's going to be the next project once we've finished off doing the sauropods. As I said, I might be putting some ceratopsians in there at some point as well, but not just at the moment. So the Patagotitan, we've got the female, and we just need the male.
Delivery has been completed. Synthesis procedure complete.
So we've got the female in there, and that one will be the male. Nocturnal. Right, I'll wait till they're both ready before we begin releasing them. Alright, there's the Mamenchis. See, they all want cover, and yet there's loads of cover. Right, I've got a lot of maturing going on. I think I'm going to need to remove these nests to stop the breeding for a little while. Can't remember where I put the nest for these. Or did I already remove it from them? I might have removed it from them. Yeah, I don't think I've got any nests in any of these anymore. I think I might remove that nest as well. And I shouldn't have any nests. Oh, I have got a nest in with the Spinosaurus. I'm going to keep that in there because I've only got 3 Spinosaurus. I've only got 3 T-Rexes, so I'm going to leave that in there. I haven't put any nesting sites in with the Stegosaurus and Therizzinos. And I did remove the nesting sites from here as well. Right, so I think what I might need to do is create a ranger station and have them tranquilize the sauropods from here and take them down to the new sauropod enclosure. I think that's what we might need to do before we start on our Carnotaurus enclosure. And then get that ornithomimus back in there as well. Right, so let's build the ranger outpost. Our ranger teams, there we go. Right, so add a task. Where's he gone? There he is. So let's get him sorted out and back into his enclosure first. I'd love to know how he got out. There we go. So we got to get him now back into there. Of course, now I can't remember how we do that. Do we do it through here? Or do I do that on the actual animal itself? God, so long since I've done this, I can't remember now. Add a task. No, it says awaken. I don't want to awaken it, do I? I cannot remember me for the life of me how. Was there a different thing for it? Mobile, no. Staff center, no. Transport, there we go. That was it. Right, let's let them deal with that for a minute. And let's get the Patago Titans released.
Asset collection request received. Transit has commenced.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Patago Titan to the park.
Yeah, I do quite like this area for the sauropods.
Commencing asset transit.
It looks similar to the one they've come from, but a bit more suited just for them, I think.
Ready to pick up the asset.
That constant snapping back to the breeding area, the hatchery, is a bit annoying.
Enormous Patago Titan, one of the largest animals ever to roam the earth. They might seem intimidating and huge, but these animals are actually gentle herbivores. Give them their space, treat them right, and they'll absolutely amaze our guests.
Asset transportation underway.
Right, so now we need to start moving these ones. Right. That should be 4 on the go to be tranquilized.
Asset transportation complete.
Right, there's 2 of them asleep.
Picking up asset. Asset to be collected. Acknowledging asset collection request. Asset collection request received.
Right, so that's 4 of them moved.
Asset transportation in progress.
Not sure how many of them there actually are, to be honest.
Assets in the air.
I think that might be... Yeah, that's got to be the last two, I think.
En route to pick up the asset.
There we go. So that should be all the sauropods in there now. Once they arrive. So now we need to work on the Carnotaurus compound, which I think we'll build around here.
Delivery has been completed.
So I'm going to put a path from here actually I really want it closer to the...
Asset transportation complete. Transportation complete.
There we go, that's better. Right, so we can now start doing the next one on here, but I'm going to do this one with fences. I'm not going to do it with a ditch. So I'm just trying to work out what sort of area I want for it, to be honest. Let's get the... not the path, let's get the paint on the go, and I can use it as a bit of spray paint. So if we go along there, down to there, that should be alright, I think. Probably a little bit bigger than I actually need for Carnotaurus. So let's cut that edge off. Let's melt that snow. So I'll build a fence sort of around that area. Or I wonder, actually, I think I might do it on the side of this path here.
Commencing asset transit.
I need stronger fencing than that. I didn't change it from last time, did I? Let's go. I think that's bigger than the one on the Giga, isn't it?
Delivery confirmed.
Is it, or is it the same? No, I think that's the same. That'll be fine. Damn it. I hate it when you hit the wrong button. Oh, come on, don't start snapping to it. I hate that snapping.
Asset has been transported.
They're a little bit wonky, but not too bad. Right, so let's go and have a look at what Carnotaurus require after I put in the gate. Hopefully I'm going to get another one of these gates on the other side. On the opposite side, if it will actually work. No, of course it won't. Let's put it there then. Right. Yeah, so we need to have a look at what the Carnotaurus require. Let's find the hatchery. There he is. One of my all-time favourite dinosaurs. I don't know why. I seem to have something for the short front-limbed dinosaurs. The tyrannosaurs, the carnotaurs. Don't know, just something about them. Right, that's the female. So let's that's the one from oh, what do you call it? Chaos Theory, I think. With the burnt face. Yeah, why not? Okay, and the male has Toro. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Definitely. So let's begin the task on those. 4 eggs. Yeah, okay, we'll go for 4.
Synthesis.
Right, so would have helped actually if I'd have looked at what kind of environment they like. Let's have a look. So they like arid, wetland, a little bit of water. Okay, arid wetland. So if I do it 50-50, we can't go wrong, can we really? Right, so let's... Right, we got some wetland with that one. I'll do something a little bit more interesting with it than just that. Let's have some arid grassland, I think. Right, so they got some wetland there, but let's make it a little bit more interesting. Let's marsh it up a little bit. Bog it up a bit going into the river there, or into the pond rather. I should have a little bit over here. Right, let's adjust this land a little bit. Let's get some rockery in there, I think. Let's build a rocky area up over here. Right, I think we better put some trees in there. They might not like trees, but trees are good. That doesn't look too bad. Okay, not the most exciting environment, to be honest, but... But it just seems to be what they want, I suppose. Just trying to make it look a little bit more interesting. Okay, let's try them out in there and see how they feel about it. Right, so aggressive. Love that as a male. That one as a male. And we'll start them off. Let's have a little look how these lot are getting on. That looks awesome. I like that. Happy sauropods. What I really need to make sure is that there's definitely no more sauropods in here. No, I think we definitely got them all. And the ornithomimus is back in there now as well, which is good. Right. Ready for release. Don't want to drop them in there with the Megalodon. Here we go, so let's...
Picking up asset. Asset to be collected. En route to collect the asset.
I wish you could switch that off so it doesn't keep flicking you straight back there again. Right, let's put a feeder in there, I suppose.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome Carnotaurus to the park.
Asset transportation underway.
We still got quite a bit of area that we can work with here as well. We might have to see if we can do a bit of work with the hybrids. Maybe the Indominus. I can hear the helicopters, but I can't see them. There they are.
Transportation underway.
I think I need to do something with Dilophosaurus as well. But first I just want to see one of my favourites arriving in my park.
Transit has commenced.
This animal is a classic predator. The Carnotaurus can move fast, has an excellent sense of smell, and is willing to sink its teeth into anything or anyone.
There we go. I love that animal. So how happy are you?
Transporting asset.
Wetland? There's loads of wetland. I put loads of wetland in here. What are you talking about?
Asset transported.
And there's loads of prey as well. I don't know none of that. I'll come back in a minute. Once you've explored a bit. There's the next one. So that should be the 2 females, I think. Yeah. Look for prey. I think I'll put another prey feeder in with them.
Asset has been transported.
There we go. Just need a little bit more wetland. Just give them a bit of that for a bit of cover. There we go, they're happy. So a bit of headbutting going on already, so they're happy. So that was quite a quick enclosure to build, to be honest. Because they don't require much. So I suppose what we do need is a viewing gallery for them, really, don't we? But I think I really want to put up a high one for them. Let's have a look. Let's have a different style of viewing. So that is a pretty good view. Right, let's connect the path up. There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have added a new viewing platform, ready for you to gain an elevated view of our wonderful dinosaurs.
I didn't realise the path had dropped down like that. I don't like the way he's looking at me. And in this side we got gigas. Down over there. Right. I think we need to have a look at the edge of this one. And try and flatten this up somehow. Because it doesn't look quite right. It's always going to drop down a little bit as long as the path looks right. But I don't think the path will be 100% right because of the gate. So we might have to make a sort of little slope there. So hopefully that slope won't look too bad. So just a little step down. And a little step up. Is that all the Carnotaurus all in one area? It is, isn't it? Yeah, I love it. So, that's 2 new environments built up today. This one I'm quite pleased with. I'm thinking of doing a little bit of a refurb on this one. So I think the problem is a lot of this stuff in the way, you can't actually see much of the dinosaurs. Oh, I don't know though, it's not that bad, is it? The hell? I could have sworn I just saw something pop up right in front of there. Right, that's looking good. I'm liking this park so far. So I'm going to have to start thinking about actually sprucing the park itself up a bit now as well, not just building the enclosures, because we've got enough enclosures now to make this park interesting for customers and visitors. There's everything they could want. There's Rexes, there's Giganotosauruses, so there's 2 of the biggest going. There's the Carnotaurs, which are awesome. Flying reptiles, marine reptiles, megalodons, Therizzinos and stegosaurs. And then we got this one, which is full of hadrosaurs, ornithomimus, and triceratops in there as well. I'm not sure how many different ceratopsians I actually released in there, to be honest. I think it might have just been triceratops. Yeah. Don't seem to have very long lifespans, do they, until they become elderly. And that's probably why we're not getting any breeding out of these ones now, because they're getting on a bit. Let's go and have a look at old Rexy. So I think that's the juvenile, that side. Well, it's not juvenile anymore. So he's reached adulthood, but unfortunately there's no other female for them to continue breeding in there. So I may have to introduce another one at some point. Oh, I forgot I was building that wall and I forgot all about it, didn't I? We'll sort something out with that later. Now, in this little area here, I might put some shops and stuff like that. Down over here, I think we need some kind of accommodation, don't we? Or actually, I suppose we could build hotels here, couldn't we? So let's have a look at large hotels. So we've got Jurassic Park Hotel there. Texarkana, Asia, Europa. So I think what I might do is I might actually have one hotel this side. And I think I might do another one just on the other side from it. So we can have two hotels there.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your comfort, we've increased the hotel capacity of the park.
No, I think it was in Evolution 2 that you used to be able to go in and actually use them as a viewing platform. You could actually see what was going on, but it doesn't look like you can do that anymore, which is a shame. It looks quite nice, doesn't it? Well, the rooms at the back are a little bit boring at the moment, but not to worry. So I think what we need to do... That one's already got that amenities covered across there. So I think what we'll do is I think we need to make like a little shopping village or something just down here. Just thinking actually, if we go onto the paths, I think what I might do is I might brick all of this lot in. Like so. And see if I can I want to try and make these into just one a sort of plaza, I suppose you could call it. It's so frustrating, the mechanics of these paths. There's probably a really easy way of doing this, but unfortunately I just don't know it. There we go. So we got a nice little plaza built there. So what we need to do is start building a few shops and that on it to make it look. I think we'll start off with a restroom. Ah, that could have just scuppered my plans actually. I forgot you won't be able to put anything on them, would you? Ah, right. So I might have to rethink that one. Just give me a minute just to delete all this lot. I thought that was going to work nicely then. Yeah, so let's have a bit of a rethink on that. Right, so let's rethink it. Can we do it via environment? I don't think we really can we? So I think what we might have to do is put the buildings in first, then we'll build everything else around them. It's sort of the opposite way around to what I wanted to do with it, to be honest, but... Right. That one's going to be a pain in the ass as well, so let's get rid of that. Just trying to think how I want to do this and get this to look right. So if I do that one about there, but not touching that. I think around the back of it, we might just have an emergency shelter. Right, I want large things in this area. Is that going to flicker all the time? Yeah. Can't have that flickering. So we'll have to rethink that. So it's going to have to come down to the end of it, about there. Yeah, it's not looking too bad. So then... if I bring the path down like so... That's not 100% at the moment. I just want that to sort of give it a scale as such. So if I put that one... Wait a minute, that's what I've just done. Oh. Right, so that's the shopping one. It's the food one I want. So that's the food. And then next to it we'll have the drink. Let's make it look a little bit different. So we got shopping, food, and drink. And for some reason, that's not connected by the path. There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, our restroom is now open to use for whenever nature calls.
Right, I just want to have a little look down there. So as we come off of this viewing area where you can't see anything, so we can come into this little arcade here. Excellent. I'll try and think what else we can put. I think we need a fountain or something, don't we? And then, of course, we've got the emergency shelter just round here. Right, so let's get a nice fountain or something down here. Go. No, that's too small. Let's put a fountain up this end. Okay, that's a bit weird. Right. See, so what I want is sort of tables, really. So let's have a search on that. Let's try and rest. Nope. So it must be down under here. What on earth is that? half a tent. But that's quite interesting. Wonder if we can put that down there. And let's see if we can square up this path down here. I hate the way it keeps changing your view every time as well. Right, I'm just going to leave that like that temporarily. So that's not looking too bad. Let's see if there's anything else that we can put there. Oh, a hyperloop. I've not seen these before. Or do we have to link? Why is this going? Oh, I see. Do I have to link that? Not quite sure how that works, but... So I thought hyperloops would have to link up to other hyperloops. Let me see if I put a hyperloop on the end of this path here. So let's edit the hyperloop. So, you know, I don't know what's going on there. Let's demolish that. Right, so that's all of that demolished. So let's start again. So we'll put a hyperloop here. Right, so at this point, I think I accidentally pressed my mute button, so I lost the audio from here on. So I'm going to be doing a commentary, as it were. So what we're doing, we're still trying to set up this underground train station, the monorail, hyperrail, whatever they call it. So I figured out how to do it. You need to put 2 of these in first of all, and then you link one up to the other, and there's 4 hubs coming out of each one, so you can link 4 different trains into each hub. So this one we're going to connect up to the hub that we've got up the north end of the island. I think it's north anyway, not sure, but that'll do. There we go, into that one there. And there goes our little train. So there we go, we have a look in that one now. In a moment we will see the train coming along the track. There it is. Exciting stuff, isn't it? So I assume this is the monorail that they use in Dominion. It's my assumption anyway, but that'll do, won't it? And there it goes. So yeah, that works nicely. So now what we need to do is to try and make this look a little bit less bland, because it looks bleak, doesn't it? So what we'll have to do is go in here with the scenery brush and start building trees up around it to make it look a little bit more Jurassic-y, parky, if you know what I mean. I think that's a real phrase. If not, I'm going to use it from now on. It's a good phrase. So we're going to try and Jurassic Parky it up a little bit more with some trees. Not that one though. That one's too small. There we go. So we'll start smashing some of these in there. So I've got it set on random rotation as well, so I can just put loads down, and they shouldn't all look the same. Random size as well. So it hides everything out that didn't look right. And get some around here as well. And I think if I remember rightly, I changed the trees and started putting different ones in there as well, just to break it up a little bit. So that's looking a lot better now. It gives it almost that sort of hidden feeling, hidden amongst the trees. So it gives you the idea that there's lots to explore in the park, lots to find. So we'll go down to ground level and we'll have a look. So here we go. We've got Winston's on the left. And we'll just follow this out. We've got a little seating area up here that we put down beyond the fountain there. We can probably put in a few more decors up here, to be honest. There we go. So the trees are sort of making it blend in a lot better. It looks a lot nicer. And then as you come up to the end here, you've got your train to get back towards the entrance. Although you can't get in the building, which I think is a bit of a shame, really. Because I know you used to be able to travel along the monorails and stuff like that. I don't know if you can in this. I've not tried it. But there we go. So there is our little amenities area done. And there is our sauropod valley. With all the sauropods in there now. We took all the other ones out of the other area. And there we have the Carnotaurs. Some of my favourite dinosaurs, as I've said about 400 times during this. And here we have now what used to be the sauropod paddock, but it's now the hadrosaur paddock. So we've got ornithomimus in there still, and we've got ceratopsians in there still, which we will probably end up moving out of there, because I really want it just to be hadrosaurs in that little area. So I think what we'll do is we'll make 2 more paddocks for them. An ornithomimus paddock, which I'm sort of thinking that area there, look, that I'm indicating now, if we could make that like an open plain with a tour going through the middle of it, like it is in Jurassic World, the first movie, and then we could have the ornithomimus running up along there, because they should like the open sort of areas. Let's see what they like. So they like a little tiny bit of cover, not too much, but you know, they like a little bit of wetlands. So the rest of it we can get along. You know, we can get away with just having some large open area for them to run around in. And we can probably put the Gallimimus in with them as well. And then the Ceratopsians, look at that, that's an awesome Ceratopsian, that one. Again, we'll build them their own enclosure. Let's see, again, cover. All these animals require cover, but it's always shown as 0 on here for some reason. I'll figure that one out. They like a little bit of wetland. They don't need a lot of water at all, so a small amount of water for them would be fine, which I'm happy with. So there we go. A sleeping Triceratops. Awesome. There seems to be a lot of sleeping going on today in this game. So there we are. If you want to join me for the next one, remember to like and subscribe to the channel and all that jazz. And I will see you on the flip side with my microphone turned on. Catch you all later.